Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 6 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat. The Celtics are heading down to South Beach to face the Miami Heat, and I can't help but feel that this game is pretty much a mismatch at this point. Boston's been absolutely owning the series lately, winning 5 straight against the Heat and holding a dominant 85-53 all-time record against them. Just last month, they cruised to a 103-85 win at the Casilla Center, and I honestly don't see Miami fighting the answer to stop them. Now, I know Boston's coming off a tough 118-112 loss to the Thunder, but they're still one of the hottest teams in the league. Even with that recent loss, they've been lights out, winning 15 of their last 19 games. Tatum went off for 33 points in that Thunder game, and while the numbers weren't crazy, he's still playing at an MVP level. White's been solid too, dropping 22 points and grabbing 8 rebounds, while Horford stepped up with 18 points and 10 boards. The Celtics kept it close in that game, but the Thunder's late 7-0 run really sealed it. Still, I'm not concerned. Boston's got too much talent to be worried about a slip-up like that, especially when they've been playing better on the road than at home. Miami, on the other hand, is in freefall. They've dropped 6 of their last 7 games, and it's getting tough to watch. They got smacked by the Clippers 119-104 in their last outing, despite Tyler Herro doing his best to carry the load with 31 points. But once again, the Heat couldn't find any rhythm, and their defense just got shredded. Even though they shot 47% from the field, they completely crumbled in the fourth quarter, scoring just 20 points. It's been a pattern for them lately, losing to teams they should be competing with, like the Hornets and Bulls. At this point, Miami just doesn't seem like they have enough firepower to keep up with a team like Boston. The Celtics have their own issues with injuries, with Tatum, Brown, White, and Porzingis all listed as questionable, but honestly, I still think Boston has way too much depth to worry too much. They've got so many guys who can step up. Tatum's been putting the team on his back, and with Horford and White consistently chipping in, they've got more than enough to put away the Heat. Miami just doesn't have that kind of depth. Herro and Bam Adebayo are solid, but they need more help, and they simply haven't gotten it. Without consistent scoring from the supporting cast, the Heat will struggle to keep up with Boston. And let's talk about defense. The Celtics have been locking it down all season. They're 6th in the lead in opposing three-point percentage, and with Miami's struggles to hit from deep, it's hard to imagine them finding the offensive spark they need to pull off an upset. If the Heat don't figure out how to get stops and contain Tatum, they'll be in for a long night. I'm not going to overthink this one. The Celtics are clearly the better team, and even with some key guys potentially out, they've got the firepower to beat this Heat squad. Miami's been ice cold, and unless Herro goes off for 40 or something crazy happens, I just don't see them taking down Boston. I'm all in on the Celtics here, no hesitation. With Miami struggling so badly, I think Boston gets the win and covers the 7-point spread. The total points under 218 looks solid too.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Clippers and Atlanta Hawks. Alright, here's the lowdown for the matchup between the Clippers and the Hawks this Friday night. It's going to be a fun one, with both teams riding some solid momentum, but with different strengths and weaknesses that will make for an interesting battle. The Hawks are cruising at home right now, having won 4 straight at State Farm Arena, and their offense has been firing on all cylinders. Trae Young is playing out of his mind, dropping 23.8 points and dishing out 11.5 assists per game. When you've got a player like that running the show, you're always a threat, especially when the ball is moving and their offense is clicking like it is thin. However, Atlanta's defense is still a work in progress. They've been getting towards Stimma paint and can't seem to stop teams from getting easy buckets inside. That's something the Clippers could definitely exploit, especially with their defensive prowess. LA has the 4th best defense in the league, holding teams to just 108.7 points per game, and with guys like Ivica Zubac and James Harden stepping up, they'll have a chance to make life tough for Young and the Hawks. The question is, can they keep it up on the road? The Clippers have been pretty inconsistent this season, especially away from home. They've got a losing record on the road, and even though they had a solid win against the Heat last time out, they've struggled to keep that same energy when they're not at Staples. The Clippers' biggest issue is that they're banged up right now. No Kawhi Leonard, no Norman Powell, both are huge losses, and it's really left them shorthanded. James Harden's been playing at a high level, so he's been carrying a lot of the load, and Zubac has been solid in the paint, but there's only so much they can do without some of their key guys. When you look at this game, it's clear that the Clippers are going to need some big-time performances from their remaining players to compete, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough in Atlanta. Now, the Hawks aren't exactly at full strength either. Clint Capella is dealing with a personal issue, and if he's out, that's a serious blow to their defense and rebounding game. But even with that uncertainty, Atlanta's offense is what really gives them the edge here. They can put up points in bunches, and they've been rolling at home, which gives them that extra boost. Plus, with the way they've been playing lately, I think they can really take advantage of the Clippers' road struggles. At the end of the day, I think the Hawks won't just cover the spread. The Clippers' defense will do its best to keep things close, but with the Hawks' high-scoring offense and home momentum, I just don't see the Clippers being able to keep up. Without Kawhi and Powell, the Clippers are missing too much firepower to challenge Atlanta's offense for 4 quarters, especially on the road. I expect the Hawks to either win outright or keep it close enough to cover that plus 4-point spread. So, yeah, my money on Atlanta to cover. It's going to be a tight one, but I think the Hawks have just enough in the tank to make it happen. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Memphis Grizzlies. Alright, let's talk about this matchup between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Memphis Grizzlies. It's shaping up to be a real test for both squads, with Cleveland on a ridiculous 15-game winning streak and Memphis coming off a solid 4-game winning streak of their own. The Cavs are comfortably sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they're looking to break the franchise record with a 16th straight win. They've been balling this season, led by the incredible Donovan Mitchell, who's been lighting it up, and Evan Mobley, who's starting to show he's not just a future star, he's a star right now. Cleveland's offense is on another level, ranking number 1 in the league with 122.7 PPG, and they're shooting a scorching 39% from deep. Not to mention, their defense has been one of the best in the league, with their rim protection making life tough for opposing offenses. Now, Memphis isn't exactly a slouch. They've been hanging tough in the Western Conference and are currently sitting in second place. They're putting up points too, averaging 122.6 PPG, just behind Cleveland. Ja Morant has been on fire lately, especially with Jaren Jackson Jr. sidelined, and they've been winning games with his explosive performances. Even though the Grizzlies have been up and down this season, they've definitely got the pieces to give Cleveland a tough matchup. The question is, can they step up against a Cavs team that's been rolling like this? The Cavs have been doing nothing on the road this year too, with a 25-6 record, and they've been looking unstoppable even without some of their key guys like Mitchell and DeAndre Hunter in their most recent win. They play at a slower pace, ranking 10th in the league, which could be a strategy to keep Memphis from winning wild with their fast-paced game. The Grizzlies lead the league in pace. Memphis has been playing with fire lately, but their wins have come against teams like the Jazz, Suns, Pelicans, and Mavericks, not exactly the toughest competition. Even when they've been winning, they haven't been covering the spread much, and it's hard to ignore the fact that their defense has been shaky, especially without Jackson. Sure, they've been competitive, but Cleveland's a different animal. If Memphis wants to pull off the upset here, they'll need Ja Morant to continue doing his thing, but they'll also need more from the guys around him. Rookie Zach Edey has been a pleasant surprise, providing some much-needed muscle in the paint, but it's hard to see Memphis keeping up with Cleveland's depth and overall firepower, even if they have the home court advantage. Look, I've tried to find a way to back Memphis here, but honestly, Cleveland is just too strong right now. They've been covering most of their games, and they're hungry for that 16th win. Sure, they might hit a bump in the road at some point, but I don't think it's happening here. I expect the Cavs to extend their streak and take this one in a close game. Now, as for the total points, despite both teams being high-scoring, their head-to-head matchups tend to stay under the total. The under has hit in 4 of Cleveland's last 5, and it's been hitting for Memphis too. So, I'm expecting this one to stay under 246.5 points. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Cavs to get the win, but I'll be looking at the under on the total points here. It's a solid bet, especially with the way these two teams have been playing each other. The Grizzlies will put up a fight, but Cleveland's got the upper hand, and they're making history along the way. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Dallas Mavericks and Houston Rockets. Alright, here we go. This game between the Dallas Mavericks and Houston Rockets is going to be a fun one, but honestly, it feels like a mismatch right now. The Rockets, despite a rough patch earlier this season, are finally back on track, having won 4 straight games. They've been locking teams down defensively, holding opponents under 101 points per game during that streak. Offensively, they still have some issues, but they're really starting to find their groove. With a record of 41-25, they're sitting comfortably in the 5th spot in the West and still have a shot at moving up to 2nd. The way they're playing, they could very well be a tough first-round matchup for anyone. That said, they've got one major strength: defense. They've been holding teams down, and with Fred VanVleet back in the lineup, they're looking dangerous again. On the flip side, the Mavericks are in a tough spot. It's crazy to think about how quickly things have fallen apart for a team that was in the NBA Finals just 6 months ago. They've won just one of their last 7 games, and with a 33-34 record, they're barely hanging on to a play-in spot. The injury bug has hit them hard, especially with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis out for the season. The Mavs are missing some key pieces, and it's showing. Luka Doncic is gone, and without him and Irving, this team just doesn't have the firepower to compete at a high level. The Mavs offense has been incredibly ineffective, and defensively, they've been all over the place. It's a tough situation for them, and it feels like their season might already be a wrap. Looking at how these teams are set up for this game, I just can't trust the Mavericks. They've got 8 players on the injury report, and none of them are small names: Irving, Davis, and a bunch of role players. Meanwhile, the Rockets are getting healthier and starting to play like the team we saw earlier in the season. When they had VanVleet in the mix, they were covering spreads like crazy, and now they're back to their winning ways. They've covered in 4 straight, and after a solid win over the Suns, it's clear this team is rolling right now. Dallas, on the other hand, is a mess. They've got Klay Thompson, who still has the potential to light it up from deep, but even he hasn't been able to carry this team. Max Christie is going to have to step up, but there's only so much he can do. The Mavs need their offense to click, but with so many injuries and a lack of consistency, it's hard to see how they can keep pace with a team like Houston. The Rockets' defense has been locked in, and with Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun playing at a high level, it's going to be tough for the Mavs to slow them down. Green is explosive, and Sengun has been a beast down low, so Dallas has its hands full. Houston's last win against the Mavs was a dominating performance, and they're in a similar position now. Sengun put up 23 points in that game, Green added 22, and Dillon Brooks chipped in with 19. The Rockets didn't even need to dominate the boards to win. They got it done with defense, grabbing 17 steals and forcing turnovers. Dallas is going to have to shoot lights out to keep this one close, but they've been so inconsistent, especially without Irving and Davis. At the end of the day, the Rockets are just in a better spot right now. They're healthy, they've got their key guys back, and they're playing confident basketball. The Mavericks are limping into this one with their roster full of holes, and it feels like their season is all but over. I'm not overthinking this one. Give me the Rockets to win and cover that minus 11-point spread. Dallas is too banged up to compete at a high level, and Houston is clicking on all cylinders. It should be a comfortable win for the Rockets, and then betting may roll over the Mavs without much trouble. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and Denver Nuggets. The Lakers are heading to Denver after a rough stretch. After an impressive 8-game win streak, they've hit a wall, losing 3 straight, including a tough 126-106 defeat to the Bucks. Luka Doncic put up a monster game with 45 points, 11 boards, and 3 assists, but even that wasn't enough to keep the Lakers afloat. The team shot just 43% from the floor and a paltry 15 of 40 from deep, with the third quarter proving to be their downfall. They got outscored 31-19 and ended up trailing by as much as 23 points. What's more, the Lakers are now missing their leader, LeBron James, who's out due to injury. Sure, LeBron's getting older, but he's still been playing at an elite level, and without him, the Lakers lose that sense of direction. Luka's been balling, but there's still chemistry to figure out with this new-look squad, and without LeBron's steady hand, it's tough to see them getting a W in Denver. On the flip side, the Nuggets have been up and down lately, too. They've been splitting their last 10 games, and their most recent outing was a 115-95 embarrassment at home against the Timberwolves. Nikola Jokic dropped 34, but the team just couldn't get it going. They shot 40% from the field and only hit 7 of 30 from beyond the arc, which is far from their usual standards. Jamal Murray had a rough night, shooting just 4-15, and even Christian Braun, who's been on fire lately, couldn't get things going. But despite that loss, the Nuggets are coming into this one with something to prove, especially after that embarrassing 23-point loss to the Lakers a few weeks ago. Denver's a tough place to play, and they'll be fired up for some revenge on their home court. They've been dominant when playing teams on the second leg of a back-to-back, and with the Lakers coming in fatigued and short-handed, this is their chance to bounce back in a big way. Hachimura and Jackson Hayes are all out, so it's been on Luka to carry the load, but even his brilliance wasn't enough against the Bucks. Denver will be hungry to avenge that previous loss, and I just don't see the Lakers getting past them on the road, especially with the altitude and the back-to-back travel. The Nuggets have been a tough out at home, and with the Lakers struggling on the road in these back-to-back situations, I can't see them winning this one. That being said, the spread is huge, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers manage to hang in there enough to cover. It's going to be a tough game for LA, but I expect Denver to come out on top in the end. I'm taking the Nuggets to win, but I think the Lakers might just cover the big spread. The sixth prediction for today is for a game between the Sacramento Kings and Phoenix Suns. Alright, here we go. Sacramento's headed to Phoenix to face the Suns, and this one looks like a big test for both teams. The Suns, with their star-heavy roster featuring Durant, Booker, and Beal, has seriously underachieved the season. I mean, this team was built to contend, right? They brought in Durant and Beal, thinking they were going to form this super team, but instead, they've ended up with one of the worst defenses in the league. I'm talking about a squad that's been giving up points like it's nothing, and with only a handful of teams worse defensively, it's no wonder they're sitting at a disappointing 30-36. That record is crazy when you think about the firepower they've got on offense. But even with all those weapons, they just haven't been able to put it all together. On the flip side, the Kings are in a spot they've been fighting for, a shot at the play-in. After years of sitting on the outside looking in, Sacramento finally seems like they're figuring it out. Sure, they've had their own issues, especially with their offense being up and down. But they've got a slight edge over Phoenix in the standings, and with Dallas stumbling due to injuries, the Kings are in a good spot to lock up one of those last 2 play-in spots. Now, they've had some shakeups, like trading away De'Aaron Fox and bringing in Zach LaVine. It's still a bit of a question whether LaVine is the guy to lead this team, but he's certainly a better shooter than Fox, and he's definitely capable of filling it up when needed. However, there's still the issue of whether he can be the primary option for a playoff run. Sacramento's defense has been inconsistent, but they've got the potential to cause some noise if they get into the postseason. Looking at this game, I feel like the Suns might be the easy pick here. They've got the stars, Durant, Booker, and Beal, and if any team can turn things around, it's Phoenix, right? But man, their struggles on defense are real, and I'm just not sure they can shut down McKins enough. The Suns have been pretty bad against top teams recently, including losses to the Clippers, Timberwolves, and Grizzlies. They've been a little better at covering the spread lately, but I'm not sold. Now, Sacramento, they're coming off a tough loss to the Warriors, and they'll be exhausted from playing a back-to-back, so they're going to be facing some fatigue heading into Phoenix. Still, the Kings aren't backing down. They've been playing hard all year, and even without Sabonis, who's out with that hamstring injury, they've got the tools to make it close. What's wild to me is that even with the Suns having all their stars healthy, they still can't get it done. Phoenix is a mess when it comes to defense, and with a few role players possibly sitting this one out, they're not in a great spot. I'm leaning towards Sacramento here, honestly. The Kings might not have the star power that Phoenix does, but they've got a little more hunger and energy right now. I think they'll keep this one close, and who knows, they might even take the W here. It's a back-to-back for them. They're short-handed without Sabonis, but the Suns are just as shaky, and they've shown they can't consistently win games. So, yeah, I'm taking Sacramento to cover the spread, and I wouldn't be shocked if they pull off the upset either.